Hi, everybody. We'll get everybody joined in here. And I want to welcome you all today to our little Zoom hangout. And I am really, really happy to have Kathryn Haylett joining us today. Again, if you're new to this, I'm Jason Odell. Glad to see you. I recognize some of the names out there, but not everybody. This is being recorded, so just FYI. If you have a question to ask, I will open it up to questions, of course, at the end. I do request that if you have questions, just type them in the chat. That's going to be the easiest thing. And if you could please place your microphones on mute for right now, we can open it up, but it gets a little bit challenging when people are watching a recording and there's
I'm on
cats
mute.
walking on keyboards. Yes, I can. So everybody, say hi to Kathryn. Kathryn, thanks for joining me today.
You're welcome. Nice to meet
And
you all.
very nice. And Kathryn, tell me a little bit about your. So we're going to talk about Namibia and Africa today, but specifically Namibia because we've set up a safari to go there next October. And but I want to, get to know you a little bit. So tell me how you're based in the UK, correct?
I am.
Okay, so we're coming across oceans here for today's meeting, and I want to ask you, what got you excited about Africa? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, of course, but when did you start going to Africa?
I started going in the year 2000, I think, if I've got my dates right. But I don't even know if I've told you this, Jason. My parents took me to see Born Free when I was 6. And my
Oh,
mum always
okay.
said, that's the only time in all my childhood I sat still. And
Wow.
I wrote I think when I was 6.5, I had to do a scrapbook at school. And there's all the usual kiddie stuff like this is my daddy, he's big and blah, blah, blah. And right in the middle, I should have brought it down actually. There's a cutout of an elephant, and I've written in it, when I grow up, I want to work in Africa with all the animals. And it goes
Bravo.
on about tranquilizing a gazelle and all this nonsense. Now, I was
Oh
six.
my.
So, yeah, it's been in my blood for all my life. And eventually I managed to get to Kruger National Park. Um, and all I could see were loads of photographers in a minibus with like one opening window. The guide had no idea where to position anybody. The light was bad. And I thought I could do better than that. So I trained in South Africa and became a guide, and then started my business in South Africa and then moved over to Namibia.
So training to be a guide, that's not, that is not a minor accomplishment. You have to actually go through and train and
Oh,
be
bye.
certified, correct?
I'm on a Zoom
Yes.
meeting.
How long did that take for you to get certified?
Well, I did a very short course. I only did 6 weeks, but it was in the field. And we
Okay.
spent 6 weeks learning everything from the ground up.
Wow. Okay. I can understand that, doing field work. You can learn a lot
Yeah.
immersively in a short time. That's for
Yeah.
absolute,
And the
absolute
rest of
truth.
it I've picked up as I've gone along. I've studied with the world's expert on African mammal behavior. And if you can anticipate what the animal's going to do, you're more likely to get your clients into a position to take the photo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you're also a photographer, right? So you got into
Well,
photography.
I take photographs, yes. I have
Okay.
done all my
Well,
life.
well, and so but that's important because being able to position people and understand light
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, when you're in the field, everything is it happened as it happens. You can't
Yes.
always, you certainly can't predict, but you can put yourself in the best position to succeed. Um, it's interesting because as photographers, I'll give you an example of something that always is funny. When if you ask somebody, um, you're maybe new to a place. You say, where would be a good place to photograph at sunrise or at sunset? And the person will always tell you where to stand to see the sun coming up. And usually I'm like, no, no, no. I want to be pointing the other way so that the
Yeah.
sun is at my back, so I can be facing,
Yeah.
so that my subject is
Colours.
front lit. And it's a different kind of thing. So having some photography knowledge is huge. It's really great that you have that. So when did you first go to Namibia?
I went in 2002. I kept bumping into people in Kruger National Park and other parts of South Africa, and they kept saying, "Have you been to Etosha? Have you been to Etosha?" And I thought, I've got to go to this place. Everybody raves about it. So I went, and that was it. Love at first sight. Um,
So
Very
just
rarely goes anywhere else now. It's just the most amazing country. It's not just Etosha, it's the whole country. It has absolutely everything.
Yeah, that's cool. And we were talking earlier this year when we were, you know, exchanging emails. Namibia, I never thought about it in terms of like going there for safari, but in my undergraduate studies, I learned about the Namib Desert and some of the interesting adaptations that the animals, insects have there to live in such a dry environment.
Yeah,
Um, but let's talk about Namibia for just a second, because we did do it's a pretty big country with a rather small population. I mean, you were talking about it gets pretty remote pretty fast, right?
yeah.
Okay. So we
So
did a quick look. We did a quick little search online, and it turns out that in terms of area, Namibia is actually significantly larger than the state of Texas here in the US. And if you're in the US, which most of my clients are, of course, everything is bigger in Texas. They say Texans like to brag about how big they are. And, other than maybe Alaska, which is even larger. And Etosha National Park, we looked it up as well. It's in the north part of the country. If you look at Namibia on a map, so if you're new to this and you don't know where Namibia is, go find South Africa. That's the easy one. And then just go up one country to the left and north, and that's Namibia. It's on the southwest coast of Africa. And Etosha National Park is in the north central northern part of Namibia, as far as I can look on a map. And it is about the size of New Jersey. That's a big national park. I've been to
it's a
New
huge.
Jersey. Okay, it's a that's
It's in the
huge.
it's the second biggest park in Africa.
Wow,
So
that's amazing. That's
and
amazing.
Namibia only has 3 million people.
Okay,
So
that's
it's this Namibia is the second least densely populated country after Mongolia.
wow. Okay, so not a lot of people there. Now, we're going to show some photos of yours in a minute. But before I do that, I want to let's just talk about um, the most people, when you think Africa, go to safari, you're thinking, game photos. While obviously you're going to get the big three. You want your lions, your elephants, your giraffes, your zebra, depending on what nationality you are. And you're going to get all of that in Namibia, right? You're going to get
Yeah.
all the wild dog, the hyenas. I think there's
Hyena, there's lots
ostrich.
of hyena. They're reintroducing wild dog again into Etosha.
Okay,
They're up in the north on the Caprivi Strip, which is the bit that sits above Botswana. The one thing we won't see in Etosha is buffalo,
okay,
because buffalo are pure grazers and there's not a lot of grass. There's not
okay.
enough
So,
grass to sustain them. But you've got the other animals that are prolific, like black rhino.
oh
Uh,
yes.
so yeah, it's compensated for that.
Well, and so that's the wildlife part. Because when I talk to my clients who've been to Africa, it's Kenya. Tanzania,
Yeah,
maybe Botswana, which has gotten more popular recently, and of course, possibly South Africa. That's the classic places to go. No one ever talks about going to Namibia. But there's another piece of this whole thing, and we're going to see in your photos that you can do landscape photography there, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's not normally what you think when you go to Africa, landscapes. And
Well,
also night sky, right?
oh yeah, the night skies are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. There's very few people there, so there's no light pollution.
That's incredible. I mean, if you've ever been to a dark sky location, I don't know, the people listening in have been to a dark sky place. It is different. We have some here in the States in parts of Utah where if you go and you look up and there's the Milky Way and there's more stars than you've ever seen in your life because you've been living under light pollution forever. So dark is incredible. So I tell you what, I think it would be really cool to talk about. Let's look at your photos, and then when we finish that, we'll talk about what you've helped me put together for a photo safari in October of 2026. What's next year already? Oh my gosh! Right. So I'm gonna do my screen share thing and see if this works, and we'll go full screen and hopefully can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. If you can see it, I'm guessing everybody else can. So this is just walk. So this looks like either early morning or late afternoon light. You've got the wonderful, you got the male lion here. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I put this in because this is the typical Etosha shot. You look across the pan and you have all these striations, and this lion was chasing off another male lion, and he was the angriest lion I've ever seen in my life. He chased him for two miles, just
Wow,
roaring all the time. Now you have to forgive me. I am not. I don't do anything in Photoshop. This is exactly as I took it, and it was taken many, many years ago. And you'll find lots of things you would do with my photographs, but I don't
that's
have the
fine. I'm not here
knowledge.
to judge the photos. I think the photos themselves are more of an indication of what kinds of stuff you can
We
expect to
can see,
see
yeah.
when we go to Namibia. So that's cool. And like so, for example,
Ah,
here. I think we're
the
zoomed
elephant's
in.
gone. What's happened to
Oh,
the
there we
elephant?
go.
There he
I
is.
was zoomed in too tight. Yes, let's look back. Yes, there's the now. So this is a um,
This is a floodlit waterhole at Okakoyu Camp. It's world famous. I watch it all day long on YouTube. And it's just the busiest waterhole you ever see. You sit behind a stone wall. There's a small electric fence, and the animals just keep coming. They come all night. Rhinos come from 9 o'clock onwards. It is just the most amazing waterhole. My
so
photographers
this is
never
just
get to
like you're
see.
just sitting in pure joy watching whatever comes in,
Yeah,
and then the photos are almost bonus.
yeah.
I mean, it seems
It
like
is like being at the theater.
I
It's
did
all
tune into that
sound stage.
YouTube live stream, and I looked at some stuff. So they it's lit at night. You said it's flood lit. So at night you can actually see all the animals coming into it as well. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, so rhinos and all kinds of amazing wildlife coming down to this water hole. So oh yeah, here we go, right? I
It's
mean
just
just
some ostriches at another waterhole I like to go to. It's the only waterhole I can't pronounce, but they're always entertaining, these guys. These are
and you've
just
got
general
some
shots.
antelope in the are those
Yeah, we've got an oryx and a
I was
springbok.
gonna say that looks like an oryx. Okay, great.
Yeah. The southern African one's called a Hemsbok, but the oryx and the springbok are only in Namibia, some in Botswana and also in South Africa. This is just south of Sossusvlei, and this is the Namib Nature Reserve, and it's an example of what the roads are like.
Wow.
Sometimes you see a puff of dust in the distance, and then a car comes along 20 minutes later.
So in the background there are those sand dunes?
No, it's sand dunes running. Oh, well, the paler pink stripe is running into rocks.
Yes, that's kind of what I, yeah, that
Yeah,
pale. Okay. And so I'm guessing then that we've got a you use a pretty uh significant vehicle for getting around.
yeah, yeah. He's called
Okay.
Dennis. He's a wonderful
Dennis?
vehicle. He's
Okay.
set up for photography.
You can come back and film.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going now through the photos. Okay. Oh, I love this picture. This just the light on this. This is a sidewinder, right?
Yeah, it's called a Adder. But Jason, do you remember I was saying to you earlier, have you seen the lions? Look underneath the pattern that's been made. It looks like lionesses.
Oh, down here.
Yeah, below the snake.
Oh,
Do you
yes,
not
it
see
does.
the
It kind of the
lioness?
tail, and yeah, it does kind of look like a cat, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
very cool. Very cool. And the light is amazing here. This is just
yeah. And
fantastic.
that was taken late afternoon in the coastal dunes near Swakopmund on the Skeleton Coast.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Oh, well, there you go. Classic. That's
Classic
just
lion shot.
classic. Got the teeth. I mean,
He wasn't angry. He actually was doing something called flamen, which is where they take the scent into their mouth to test if the female is ready for mating.
I see. That's interesting. Very cool. And it's like, lions are everywhere. And it's kind of like when I talk about bird pictures, it's like, well, it's just a great blue heron, but it's your picture.
Yeah,
You got when people ask me about like, aren't you worried about AI? I'm like, yeah, AI is not going to have me in a Land Cruiser in Namibia taking photos of
yeah,
and
true.
getting to experience this. That's so awesome. That's so cool. I love it. Oh, and then magical, right? Elephants at the watering hole.
This is my favorite waterhole for sundowners. So we always crack open a beer at this waterhole and watch the sun go down. It goes down behind you, so the whole of the pool goes purple. It's just the most magical place to finish your afternoon.
Amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, sitting at a water hole, kicking back with your camera, a cold beverage. What's not to like about that? Oh, here we go.
I call
Twins.
this the black and the white one because they're so different. The only thing
Hmm.
is the one on the right didn't turn his ear round to me,
Darn
but
it.
they were drinking right by the side of the road during the rainy season.
Amazing. So you just pull over and say, "Hey, we'll get some
Yeah.
photos." That's great. Did anybody ever figure out if it's white on black or black on white? I thought there was a study on that one time, and they figured it out. I can't remember, but anyway, that's something to ask ChatGPT. Oh, and then of course the elephants.
Yeah, they come so close to you that as long as you're not blocking their path, they're completely harmless.
Wow.
Um, Especially the big old boys. It's the young, feisty ones that you have to watch. And obviously the matriarch if they've got young, but the big old boys. They call
I
them
mean, I want
the
to run up and give it a
rhinos.
hug. I mean,
Yeah, and it's all the texture. I love the texture.
yes, and they make for some wonderful black and white pictures too if you
Yeah,
get the
they
right
do.
light. That's so wonderful. Oh, now that's exciting.
I was there with two guests who did a private tour with me, and we sat for 6 hours at this waterhole. Um, I we knew they were hiding behind these tufty grasses. They had three attempts at catching something and failed, and they eventually nailed a zebra. But we sat for 6 hours in the blazing
Whoa.
sun.
Oh
but
my
we got the
goodness.
shots.
Well, that's what you'll do for the right. If you know it's there,
Yeah,
it's a
we
good
knew
it's a
it was going
good
to
thing.
happen.
Yeah, amazing. And of course, this is once again just goes to demonstrate that it's the women that do all the work in the lion pride. They go out and hunt. The males just sit around and act fat and happy. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that was my first cheetah cub. It's on a tiny little road that nobody goes on because there isn't a waterhole there. And I've always been lucky there. I've seen every kind of cat, including caracal and serval. And that little one was my first cheetah cub of that age. It's
It's
tiny.
funny when I
And the
first looked at
light
this
was just
picture, I didn't even
beautiful.
see. I saw the eyes of the parent, the mom there, and oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's a cub in this. It's incredible.
Yeah, the light is just exquisite on that road at any time of day because it twists and turns. So
Oh
you're
wow,
always catching really nice light.
that's awesome. Oh, and here we got the whole cubs, all of them waiting for mom.
Yeah. The lionesses were on the road, and I suddenly realized that this one was lactating. So, and she started walking, and I thought, now where's she going? There's a water hole behind the cubs. So I quickly turned around and whizzed to this water to the car park area because there's only room for about four vehicles. And as she walked up, they all just put their little black ears up. It's a lovely sight. They're not all hers. The female lions look after each other's cubs.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, all right. We were mentioning landscapes and night skies, and look at that. Look at
This
this.
This is the Kalahari Desert, and this was taken by one of my clients last year on an astro tour. Well, it was an astro and wildlife tour. Um, yeah, it's beautiful. This arch is just wonderful.
Yeah, you need a pretty wide lens for that, but either way, it's pretty incredible. Um, I don't know what I'd have to look up what the Milky Way is doing in October down there, but I have a
Yeah,
feeling it's visible. I can't remember exactly, but that's incredible. But this just gives you the scope of just how many stars are out there in a place like this. Because I mean, and our cameras are so great at picking them up now. I mean, they'll see things you cannot see with your eye, but that's amazing, wonderful stuff. Oh,
oh,
okay.
this is one of
Some
my favorite images. The hyena, there was a clan of 60 hyena and they took down a wildebeest. And then these
whoa.
bully boy lions came along and stole it off them. And eventually the hyena circled them and grabbed a bit back. And but the light was terrible. The light was directly in my face. But I like the fact that it's all dusty and murky, and um, it's just one of those moments.
Well, think about it. You couldn't have done this as easily with film as you think you got right. I mean, this is what digital can do. Even with backlit scenes, you can see the rim lighting on the ears of the hyenas there, and it's
Yeah,
great. That's. I mean, this is just survival of the fittest 101. This
yeah.
is life in the. I would say it's life in the jungle, but it's not. But it's not the jungle, but it's the real deal. Oh wow.
That's just I like the fact that it's backlit and they're all walking and they at this time of year, October, November, it gets really dry and dusty, and you get these lovely moody shots of the hooves picking up dust and
And these are wildebeest, right?
is wildebeest,
Okay,
yes.
that's what I thought. I'm checking my so that check the box, get the wildebeest. And I like how you've done the panoramic crop here. That's great. That's I mean, it really just lends itself to the line of wildebeest coming through the dust. That's fantastic light too. Oh wow, another cheetah with this time with lots of cubs.
Four cubs feeding. I saw her coming from goodness knows how long. Uh, it took her a long time to walk across this big plain. And then I realized that with these little fuzzballs. following her. And she just stood underneath a tree just a few meters from me and fed them all.
That's
Magic
just
sighting.
fantastic. Oh, and some birds too, because not everything is mammals in Africa, right?
No, this is a great orchestral. I just I sat, and I'm sure you've done this many times yourself. I sat so long with my eye to the eyepiece, and my nose had gone virtually flat next to me. And I thought, please take off. And eventually he did, and I just caught it. It's a bit fuzzy around the wings, but
Hey,
I did
that's just
actually
motion blur.
I got the
The
catch light in his eye, I
the
do.
eye is sharp. Yes, you got to catch light. The eye is sharp, and we can. These are. It's moments like this where you want to have your guide as well as a photographer, someone who knows, because that's the role of what we do, right? You put your clients into the best position, and then you have someone as well, or who's knowledgeable to say, okay, this is what you're looking for. This is what you want. Here's how to get a better photo of this. Um,
Yeah.
so that's fantastic. Oh, look at this, and monochrome treatment too.
Yeah, this is our Kukui waterhole, and usually at dusk the Ellies come down. They come down to drink and dust bathe. The little ones all play in the water, and I love seeing, or you can smell elephants before they get to you, and not in an unpleasant way. They do something to the air. I swear they do, and then they start coming. And today I was watching. There were 60 elephants at our Kukui waterhole.
Wow, wow, that's just yeah. I mean, seeing that in the wild is just amazing. And okay, oh, we have
These
more
are
waterhole.
these are kudu, greater
That was
kudu.
my guess. That was my guess.
It was just a waterhole that was really close, so they always line up nicely for you as well.
That makes for a great photo. Oh, look at the. I think I
This is
used this one on the post for this.
I need to crop the foreground. It's far too much. Anyway, this is Okanjima. Okanjima is home of the Africat Foundation, and they take cheetah in from farmland and then relocate them somewhere else on a cheetah-friendly farm because there's more cheetah in Namibia in than any other African nation, and most of them live outside the national park. But this is a girl called Mfui, and she was a leopard who lived there for many, many years. And we pulled up underneath her, suddenly realized she was there on the dam wall above us. And she went from this position to getting up to leaping directly over our vehicle and tried to nail a wildebeest. It was
Oh.
just the stare. I loved the stare.
And you've I think I read when we were putting the trip together that there's some leopard tracking activities for the group,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, so we'll
yeah,
go out and look specifically, try to get some leopard photos.
we have two options. We can do leopard tracking, and we can also walk with white rhino,
Oh, well,
all at this place. And it's very legit. It's they're conservationists, but they study the animals.
that's all of that sounds amazing to me, quite frankly. Okay. Oh, that's pretty.
It's absurdly pretty, isn't it? It's called a lilac-breasted roller. And I always challenge people to take a photo of it in flight because it's even more spectacular in flight. But you can never tell which way it's going to go. So I've got so many pictures of uh, bits of
The
this
feet
roller.
leaving the frame shots, I have those. Yeah, I know. I got some of those just this morning today here. So that the color here, the subject isolation, the thorns that it's on. I mean, come on, that's I've told people I'm an accidental birder, but but when I see them, I just take the pictures and I ask the questions later. That's amazing, and I've seen so many great birds. So having some birding opportunities never hurts. I
No.
think it's more opportunistic, right? It's you never know what you're going to get, but wow, when you get something like that, what can
Yeah,
you
they're
say?
spectacular. This is another of my favourite waterholes. It's called Tudop, and we were there early in the morning. I always swing by here first thing in the morning, and suddenly I saw one lion coming out of the bush, and then they just kept coming and coming and coming, and more came after this. But I think that was the best shot I got.
Wow.
They drank for ages. They drink such a lot.
You know, hydration is important when you're in a desert sort of arid environment, right?
Mm.
Oh, look at that.
Wild dogs. These were at Okanjima as well. It's just nice to have a wild dog in there.
Yeah. And to be attentive, the ears are up, catch light,
Yeah,
all of the above. And it's interesting because, from a color perspective, the mammals, afternoon light, warm light, golden light, everything is kind of brown, kind of orange, yet it works.
yeah.
Like this works. And and then you've got the other one who's lying down here, which is very cool. That's great. Okay. Now this is spectacular as well. These are tell me about these trees. These are the famous trees, right?
Yeah, these are the quiver trees. I think they're only in Namibia and a little tiny bit of northern South Africa. And this is at a quirky little place that we'll go to called Sauhab River Camp. And they have their own private farm that has a quiver tree forest. It's a lot further north than the famous one in Namibia, but to be honest, it's that one is not a patch on Sauhab because you're there privately. You can spend as long as you want. You haven't got other photographers ruining the shots with light. It's just a beautiful place.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. And you talk. I mean, they would be good in any light, I'm guessing, but you get a night sky behind them, and that's incredible
Yeah.
stuff. Um, So we did have there are some questions in the chat, but I'm going to get to, I did see them. So I'm not ignoring you, but we'll get to those questions in a minute once we get through the photos. But this is just incredible stuff. Okay, there you go.
I think this is the last one. This is Scarface, this old mangled lion who sat up next to me as we drove through Etosha National Park, and he just fixed me with his stare.
Wow.
Um,
You
and it
got it.
still gets me. It's the amount of scars. His nose is all cut and slightly on one side. And I thought it looked much better in black and white.
It's the face that says, I've seen some things
Yeah.
in my life. Oh,
Oh, and
okay. We got like
I think this
another.
is the last star shot. This is actually a fort, a genuine fort from 1918, inside Etosha National Park. It's
Oh,
at
wow.
Namatoni Camp, and this is when we were first playing. This was our first place with the Astro Tour.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is one that one of our clients took.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that is the end. So what I'm going to do is stop the screen share for a moment. And now let's talk about. I'm going to jump into my um, web browser here for just a second because I want to let's talk about this trip that you've helped me put together. Um, and there was a quick question. And the question was, for you is were you planning on being the guide on this safari, or are you just putting it together? And I think you're hoping that you can actually be with us on this tour, right? As the
Yeah,
guide.
I am hoping, but it really does depend. But I do have exceptional guides who guide on my behalf as well.
Okay.
Ideally, I'd like to be there, but it may just not be possible logistically.
Well, we would, yeah, and I think it would be fantastic if you could.
Yeah, it
Um,
would. It would be great.
would be great. I mean, I'm not going to complain. So you you reached out to me. Um, I think I was in New York over the summer, and it was like back in July, and you said, you thought about doing Africa. And it's funny because I actually have had clients say, "Have you ever thought about going to Africa?" And I said, "Yes, but it requires so much more than what I could put together
Mm.
myself. I mean, I can do all kinds of workshops logistically, but when it comes to doing a photography tour, you you said it best. You don't want to be on some canned experience that the guides don't know what they're doing. I mean, that no, you're paying a lot of money to get to Africa, no matter who you go with, and you want that person to have the knowledge, the experience
Yeah,
of the animals, of the terrain, of and hopefully when to be there, and the best time to be there. So um, I want to um, find. I'm going to go to the web link for the website that you've put together, and then I'm gonna share that in the chat. Okay, so if anyone wants to go there in the chat, so just give me a second, and I'll find the chat window. Okay, so I'm putting the URL of the site that you've put together because more than anything that I could do, you've absolutely listed a comprehensive itinerary. So let's just go over some of the stuff that is the plan, if you will. But we've put together a 15-day tour of many of the spots that you showed us in Namibia. And this is very small group. We can take only 5 people with a minimum of 4. Okay. And so if you go to the website, it'll have all the information about the what's included and what's not included. But let's just talk a little bit about, there's 5 nights in Etosha National Park, and you can see the itinerary. And one of the places that we didn't have photos from, which is actually famous, is the Deadbly with
oh,
the
sorry, I thought I put Sossusvlei
no,
and
that's
Dead.
okay. Well, I have
I'm
some
sure
in
people have
there on the
seen it.
website. They're in there, and these are the dead trees with the orange dunes behind them, with the white pan below. So we're going to go there. You mentioned we're going to see the quiver tree area where we can do some night photography. So we're going to be out on the coast. We're going to
Yeah.
be in the inland, and there's a map that shows everywhere. And I'm going to see if I can pull that up so people can just see what I'm talking about here. Um, okay, I'm going to zoom in. There is an itinerary on here, and I'm just going to go and share this again. Hopefully, you can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this gives you, so keep in mind that we're talking about a country that is larger than Texas. And we're going to start down here in Windhoek,
Mhm.
and then we'll have a night here, and then we're going to have multiple stops and stays here in the um, Etosha, right? This is all Etosha.
Yeah.
And then come down here to the coast, and we'll stay, and this is where the dead trees are and the dunes, and because this is Namib Desert, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this brown, this is the Namib Desert, and then down here, and eventually we'll work our way back. So over the course of 2 weeks, you're going to fill some memory cards on this trip, I think. So
I,
that's the overview of where we're going to be going. And I know there's going to be questions from people, so let's just talk about something for a moment. First, let's just talk about the transportation and accommodations. What can people expect from where you've set up where we're going to stay?
There'll be a mixture of places. The camps inside Etosha National Park are a little more rustic, shall we say, but all the rooms are air conditioned. There's all nice beds, good linen. Obviously, everything's en suite. Um, the restaurants are a little bit bland, but you're not paying for that. You're paying for the experience of actually waking up inside the national park.
Right.
And then you've got these really super duper lodges outside the park, and people queue up for an hour and an hour and a half at sunrise to get in. And meanwhile, we've been watching lions. So, Okanjima is five-star luxury.
Oh,
Um,
well.
the place that's marked by F, that's a wonderful, wonderful lodge called Iiba. And it's surrounded, it's built into all these huge red rocks and massive red boulders. That's
And there's
beautiful.
pictures of these on the website for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's all
If
in
you
there.
click the accommodation button, you'll see where we're going. And then down in the desert in Sossusvlei, that's also lovely, lovely accommodation. I don't know what people expect when they go to Africa, but it really is
This looks
phenomenal.
pretty darn nice. I
Yeah.
mean, just saying. This is
Um,
not because I know I had a question from someone who had emailed me earlier about, are we going to, is this going to be any camping required? And
no,
no, there's no camping. The rooms are air conditioned. There's refrigerator. You even have a refrigerator in your vehicle, if I recall.
yes, of course. How would I keep my white wine cool?
Right? So speaking of that, what about people with dietary restrictions? Are there major issues going to Namibia with that?
If you'd asked me about 10 years ago, I would have said, yes, it could be awkward. But now they've got everything nailed now. As long as we tell them beforehand, because some of the remote lodges shop once a week. So they need to know
Hmm.
everybody's dietary requirements. And we've never had any problems. We've sent vegans, vegetarians, gluten-free, lactose
Oh, well,
intolerant people. So it works. It's really good
very good.
quality food because if they don't grow it in Namibia, it comes up from South Africa.
Mhm.
Um, and the wine is cheap, the beer is cheap. It's a lovely, lovely place.
So yeah, you can go here and you can see all the different places we're going, and for how many nights. And for many of the places, meals are included. So it's not everywhere, but it's, I think 11 dinners are included in this tour. Now, you mentioned the vehicle. You've customized this specifically for photography. We can hold, like I said, we can take 8 clients plus us, or not 8 clients, 5 clients plus us. Um, and what is the vehicle kind of like?
It's a it's a Land Cruiser, specific to South Africa. It's enormous, but it's not too long. You can get stretch versions of these, but I think you get the angles wrong then for photography. If you have more than 3 rows of photographers, there's always going to be somebody disappointed at the back or at the front because you can't please everybody. The angles are wrong.
Right.
So it's got a pop-up roof. It's got 14 opening windows, and I designed these. It's like a padded shelf all the way down the side of the vehicle, so you can lean out with your camera
Oh, and
rather.
be supported.
Yeah, because
Very cool.
I've seen people with bars against their windows, but then everyone's trying to fall backwards to balance the
Hmm.
lens. So this works really well. And the pop-up roof is great. And then we have loads of bean bags. I tried gimbals, but they always end up in the wrong place. So we do it this way, and we've never had anyone disappointed, so it works well.
That's fantastic. So, another question I'm sure people will have is, um, what would be what's the kind of kit that you would recommend for, the focal length ranges? What kind of gear would you bring? I mean, I have an idea in my head what I would probably
I'm
want to
sure
bring,
you're
but
right. As I say, I'm not very technical. I have a 100-400 zoom lens and a
Mhm.
600 prime.
Okay. And that's big. So,
That's because I don't take landscape photographs apart from
okay.
something with
Right.
an animal in it.
Right. And it's fair to say, I probably wouldn't bring a 600 prime down to Africa because of the
Yeah,
luggage
yeah,
constraints. But if you had a 100 to 400 and maybe a teleconverter to get a little extra reach, depending on your camera, you're going to be in good shape, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And then do you ever need to use something shorter, like a 70 to 200 range, because the wildlife is so close?
You, yes, you can, definitely. I just tend to be, if they are close, I become an eyeball photographer instead. So
Okay.
I find 100 to 400 really, really suits. I can
Okay.
get almost everything I want. But then I've been very lucky because I've got so many images over the
Mhm.
years. I'm not always looking for something different.
No, and when you're going somewhere that's a bucket list kind of destination, uh, you don't want to, you have this fear of missing out concept. You don't want to leave anything. The question was, is 100 to 400, we're talking about full frame, or, what format? Yeah, we're talking focal lengths in 35 millimeter format, right? Not crop sensor or smaller.
So,
So, because if you have that, you go with different focal lengths. We're talking about the equivalent of 100 to 400 that gets you a tremendous range. The landscape stuff, obviously, you could have something like a 24 to 120 or
yeah,
something like that. And then for night sky, if I'm packing, I'm going to bring something that is fast and wide, you know, and it just depends on what you're able to pack. So my go-to used to be something like a 20 millimeter f1.8. It was that combination of wide enough to get most things. And if you can go wider, great. But the good news is with our cameras nowadays, the you can make up for some of that with ISO.
yeah,
We're not so
yes,
constrained by
yes, yeah,
noise anymore. But if you got a 100 to 400 or equivalent, I recently moved over to shooting with Micro Four Thirds gear. Um, and they've got a lot of different options, including one they just came out with, which is literally a 100 to 400 equivalent. I've been testing it, and it works with teleconverters. So, because if you wanted to go with something longer, the challenge with Africa is most of the wildlife is pretty big. And if it gets close, suddenly your 300, 400, 500 gets to be too long, right?
well, we'll move the vehicle then.
Okay, there you go. We can back up, right? Back up. Yeah, it's just back up. Um, I want to see if there's anybody else out there who's joining us live. Do you have any other questions? You can just type them in the chat if you've got questions for us, or you can always email me, Jason at luminescentphoto.com. You can get my email, and I'll type that into the. There we go. So that's good. So if you need to email me about this, you can. Now, registration we're on a little bit of a tight schedule here. So what we've got is we have a special discounted rate, and none of this is ever cheap. I'm going to just say that, right? Let's it's true. Africa is not inexpensive. However, um, the question about a tripod. Um, yes, for the night sky, if that is what interests you, I would bring a very small travel tripod. Again, you're going to
And
have to pack this all
also,
to
also around the floodlit waterholes.
there. Yes, having something that you can use, because in the vehicle, obviously not. You're going to be
Yeah, you've got the
supported by
pads.
everything,
Yeah,
but there'll be a few things where a tripod or even maybe a monopod might work. So
yeah,
the tripod really is for the night sky stuff where you really need to be locked down.
yeah,
I find that if you can support your camera somewhere with the stabilization systems that are in them these days, we're not doing a tremendous amount of long exposure wildlife photography, although, hey, it's an option, right? You can do some creative motion blur, I would think. Um, so we're on a bit of a tight deadline because we need to get locked down with all of the, with everything. We've got our dates set, but we have a special offer running right now that as long as you put a deposit down, which you can do on my booking site, I'm going to get that for you too. Um, we need a deposit by mid-December. And if we get that from you, then it is discounted and the rate is shown. It is at the rate shown. The price is shown on the website. So let me put that in there because we need to get our group together. So this is the. Oh, I'm going to put it. I just sent it to one person. Let me send it to everybody. Try that. Okay. So I just put a link into the chat to everyone. Hopefully, y'all can see that. That's my registration page where you can place a deposit. If you do that, we've managed to work an early bird discount to save a few $1,000s actually, which isn't bad. Like I said, it's a very exclusive workshop, not workshop, safari. I say workshop. I'm used to that because we can only take 5 people. So you're not going to be competing with anybody else for time with myself or with Kathryn or our guide, whoever happens to be leading that. You're going to have full access to that in one small but large yet smaller vehicle. It's not small, but you're not in a bus. And that's important. You're not going to be spread out between multiple vehicles, and it's all based on single occupancy accommodation. I've looked up similar trips that cost way more than this one. So I'm just saying, it's all relative depending. But I think the experience here, being able to go to a place that most people haven't been, help me out here, Kathryn. We've got multiple we've got the national parks, we've got the water holes, we've got the
Got the world
dunes, we've
high
got the
sand
night
dunes, you've got
sky.
the Skeleton Coast, you've got the Orongo Mountains, you've got
I mean,
wildlife all over, desert adapted elephant, desert adapted lion. The country is just phenomenal.
I saw some photos of flamingos. They have flamingos there too, right?
Yeah, they have flamingos. Yeah,
I
they
mean,
they will be in Volvish Bay Harbour. And there as well, they have these enormous salt workings and they go bright pink. It's beautiful landscape photography.
wow, that's that's just incredible. Well, I know that everyone is, in the middle of their busy day, and I know it's getting late where you're at because you're over in the UK. So I want to thank everyone who tuned in live. This will be posted on my blog, which is over on Substack, and I'll send out a link to that for everybody who registered as well as through the normal channels. If you're interested in this trip, we'd love to have you. It's really a once in a lifetime kind of trip. If you ask me, it's spectacular. Um, and if it works out, maybe we can do it again in the future too. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. So again, thank you so much, Kathryn, for your time. Incredible, just
Well,
incredible
you're
destination.
very welcome, but I have to ask a question.
Sure.
I know this is the wrong way round. Daphne and Michael, are you any relative to Richard Estes, Dr. Richard Estes?
Mike, you can unmute yourself if you'd like.
What was the question? Are we what?
Are you related to Dr. Richard Estes?
Not that I know of.
Oh, he was
Maybe
my
I've
very good
asked.
friend. He was he's the world's expert on African mammal behavior. And I took him to Etosha several times to do teaching courses for guides. Yeah, I just wondered, it's such an unusual surname.
Yeah. We're already signed up. We're really excited about
Oh,
this trip.
Yes,
oh,
So
Daffrey and
fabulous.
Mike
we're
are
going.
some of my best clients, and they've been around the world with me. It seems like so. Looking forward to it.
I look forward to meeting you, hopefully.
Well, I hope
Absolutely.
you're there with us.
It would be
Yeah, that would be
nice.
fantastic. Okay, everyone. Thanks again for joining. I need to sign off, but again, check out the links that I've posted. I'll send those out in an email, of course. And if you're interested in this trip, talk to me because it's going to be amazing. Going to just be amazing. So
Thank you,
thanks
everyone.
again
Thank
and
you.
enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye.